cha-cha and wowie zowie.
Oh my goodness. Zigga zigga ah. Coming in hot.
Oh my god, I saw a meme the other day that was like, someone just called us the Spice Girls generation, and I moved to that to replace millennials.
Oh, yes, 100%. I don't get a vote because I'm not part of it, but I would thumbs up all the way.
Leave us to our bullshit. What's up, Lillian Bustle?
This is it, Jen Ponton.
Hooray!
We're doing it.
We are doing it. Happy birthday to Dreading the Boards.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Friends, obviously you're hearing this later on down the line, but we are recording this on the day that Dreading the Boards actually dropped into the laps of so many excited people, and we're so excited.
Ooh, the ghost of Stage Lights Past.
We're killing it. People like us because we talk so good.
Do real good talk. Much that.
So good talk.
Hooray! Today we have with us on the podcast Sara Minisquero.
Hooray!
Sara is a stage critter of multiple talents. They're an actor, a crooner, a crafter, a stage manager, and a production designer. They have worn every hat, plus the role of Community Contessa. They explained to me that they're a very good people connector, creative connector, and have been for over 15 years. Previously stage managed for the FutureProof. They previously stage managed for FutureProof, and they were the stage manager in residence for Funhouse Philosophers at Coney Island, USA.
Coney!
That's so awesome. Pre-pandemic, they were running a show called Marshmallow Minxes Presents, which was a performance art company that they co-founded, and Boodoir, a monthly variety show. Sara also hosts mixed medium shorts at songsofsaranelia.com, which we will put for you in the show notes when you're all done listening.
Hooray!
Welcome.
Hi!
Super duper.
Super duper. Very excited to have you.
Thank you. That was a lovely intro.
You're welcome. You wrote it.
You wrote it. But we really love watching and
Killing
listening as our guests are like, oh, you're going to read my bio.
With enthusiasm and
With
love.
enthusiasm and zest. Mm-hmm.
Yay.
I gotta say, I always love when Lillian brings me carny folk.
Represents.
We're such an interesting breed of pirate, but that's what we are.
100%. And also, I super appreciate your stage management stuff. When's your birthday? I'm curious.
I'm December 17th. I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Yeah, you fucking are. Yep, absolutely.
I can't make up my mind for shit.
I'm taking notes. Great.
But-
I'm rating you under fire signs. I'm absolutely serious.
Great.
As a Capricorn, I excel in stage management because I can organize things for other people, but not very well for me, which is very tricky sometimes. But I love stage management. And interestingly enough, it's something that in burlesque gets like tossed to the wayside. Like, oh, we don't need a door person or a stage manager for a show. And that is confusing to me as a person who came up in theater.
Performance venues, you need that person all the more.
Oh, yeah.
I actually got my start in nightlife, to be very truly honest. Vivian V gave me a job stage managing her Christmas spectacular.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And that was my first ever baby toe dip into performance art happens outside black box theaters.
Right.
This is nice. This is
Yes.
being someone to craft something in inventive spaces while bold, daring, cool, immersive, really freaking hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
Every single obstacle that can be in your way is in your way.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the venue.
Yep, for sure. I have produced shows on my own in places that did not have I mean, microphones, speakers, stereo systems, things like that. Places where people are like, I don't know, the DJ just shows up and plugs in. And I'm like, great. Well, I guess I need to learn how to use a soundboard.
Oh no.
So now I have my own mixing board. I could hook up an entire I could hook up 4 microphones and my computer into a home stereo system as long as there's plugs. Like as long as it's not a Sonos that's Bluetooth. That is what I have taught myself over the last couple of years.
Yeah. It's
Girl, resume building.
Hacha, special skills.
that's been my track and my train of thought since the beginning, because usually I'm just thrown in on the fly and adapt. Yeah,
Yes.
Is that how you wiggled your way into the nightlife scene?
Yeah, more or less. I had done so. Honestly, I started as an actor that just got into stage management and producing right out of graduation and like moving back to New York, because folks would see me in the room and be like, "You're the most prepared actor here, and you listen to literally everything the director has told you."
Ever thought about being a techie?
Yeah, that was the conversation. And all of my college roommates were techies. Like I was the oddball theater kid that actually wanted to like build and make shit. So I minored in a lot of craft. Nice. I did math making, makeup effects, like prop and wardrobe fabrication, just to have a lot of the skills.
I love that too. I loved that. I was like, teach me how to build a flat. Teach me how to hang that damn light. Like I wanted to be in it.
And I took stage combat, so that ended up being a great thing as I stage managed, because more often than not, I'd have to be fight director, because you hire a choreographer and never see him again.
Wow. You're so valuable.
I try, dude. And that's the thing. The acting world was way too competitive off the gate, and I found that I didn't fit a lot of the pre-scripted role archetypes that they were fishing for at the time. I was bored, but I also wasn't booking work, so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna find paychecks.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And it takes a rare person, sadly, to not get caught up on the ego of like, no, I'm meant for the stage. Like,
yeah, you can't always hold your breath for like those opportunities where you get to be your most authentic self. I find a lot of the time you're going to be holding your breath for ages if you try, unless you really befriend a playwright, and you might, but outside your opportunities are scarce.
Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you already have money.
Funny how that one works.
So when we first started talking about this, Sarah was like, what about a little bit about this story? What about a little bit about this story? And everything that you tossed at me, I was like, this is delicious. So please feel free to start.
Is this charcuterie of stories?
Charcutes of stories. I want to tell my Coney story, because I think that is like the day I wore my badge proudly forever that I am the Swiss Army knife of theater.
Yes.
Because the title of the piece, and it was 3 years ago, was The Education of Al Capone as if told by Jimmy Durante.
Don't worry, everything good was 3 years ago.
Yeah. before. It was a simpler time. Dick Ziggin original about...
tell the people who Dick is.
Dick is the mayor of Coney Island, and a graduate of Yale School of Drama, if you did not know. Playwright, theater producer, kind of the artistic director of all things that happen down in Coney, from freak shows to like operatic events.
I want that job.
Yeah. That is his position in the world, and that he owns it. He's the king of Coney Island. That's who he is, and he puts up his work. And Education of Al Capone was the second Dick Ziggin original I worked on. The first one was a piece about Betty Page, and I worked with C.D. Edie.
Yes,
fantastic.
Oh, she's a gem.
Incredible in that role too. So I got my sea legs on that, but Education of Al Capone was a 2-act musical. First piece, and 6 characters total. One gentleman who was a very good friend of mine, this actor named Rob Alloy, was the male ensemble track. He had about 7 quick changes. He gets shot. He fires a gun. He's in musical numbers throughout the show. He's in a stage fight because he plays the guy that gives Al Capone his scars.
Wow.
I think it was our Saturday matinee or our Friday night. I can't recall. I got a message from Rob that he was stuck on a commercial set. And he said, I'm very sorry. My manager booked this and she didn't know that the show days were today.
Oh,
and I was
God.
like, I'm sure she knew. I'm pretty sure she knew. But he's on this set.
For those who are just listening and can't see, the eye twitch.
The level of
just
twitch
happened.
was just solid.
It was a day. My anxiety, my chest was in my throat. So he's stuck on the shoot for the entire night, and we're about 40 minutes till curtain. I'm running back and forth between the cast, who are now too late for me to cancel the show and tell them to stay home. They're already here. And Dick is hanging out in the lobby. And I'm thinking on the back end, he's not going to cancel his show. He's not going to do it. So what do we do? What?
Oh my God.
I go backstage and the joke starts passing around. Sarah, just go up there. Sarah, you're fine. Just be on book. You're okay. Just do the track. And I look at it, and on paper, Rob had about a page worth of lines.
Oh,
I knew his track. I also knew within my duties as stage manager, because I was the gun wrangler, what else I had to do myself so that I could still be in the right places for entrances, but still hand off a weapon prop to the correct actor and ensure it. We made practical pasta on stage every night that was sold to the audience during pre-show, because song 2 of the show was a food fight between the actor and the audience.
I just want to say, for those, if you somehow got here and you don't know theater lingo, practical means that it actually happens on stage. So like if it's a light that's a practical, sometimes you can like, in some theaters, you'll touch the light and pretend to turn it on, and then someone in the light booth will turn it on. Practical means you're actually turning on the light. So like if you see water running on stage, that's a practical prop. So you were physically making spaghetti.
In a crock pot.
In a crock pot, which is not the generally recommended way to make
I hear Italians love it like that.
No, it shouldn't be. All of the things were allowed to be because
it gets nice and soft that way.
The things that were allowed to happen in that space because Patrick the TV made it safe and made it so brilliant.
Oh, the magic I have seen at Coney, but yes.
Oh, my heart stops. So all of this happens. The span of 40 minutes, Kate Dale had a suit in my size. I'm 5'0". Kate Dale just happened to have a suit for me. Sitting around. The girl playing Clara Bow, because yes, we had a girl playing Clara Bow, was a makeup artist, and she slapped a Gomez on my face. Puts me out. And the worst/best thing about it is they really decided to preface the performance with a curtain speech saying I was filling in the role of this Frank Galluccio track. And it was our stage manager. Give her a big hand.
Oh my God.
No.
God, I love it.
I'm dying. I'm dead. So the show ends. We're texting photos the entire time, and he's on his film shoot. He writes back, he's like, I'm broken hearted, I can't be there, I'm so sorry guys, but Sarah, you nailed it. And just, we're drunk at Applebee's. I still have my mustache on. It was one of the best nights of my fucking life that I was able to do everything cover to cover. Nothing slipped, nothing fell. And then our goddamn Al Capone, like at the end of the night, gives me a hug and goes, all right, Sarah, I don't feel, I'm not coming in tomorrow. So that is my Coney Gauntlet Vietnam story.
That's amazing.
Wow. So good.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And last night was the 3-year...
Year anniversary was last night. The pictures popped up and I went, well, shit.
The timing. She is perfect.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
are you OG New York?
Yeah,
Jersey?
I'm South Brooklyn born and raised.
Yes.
I actually grew up in Sheepshead Bay, so I spent a lot of time in Coney. I gravitated towards that space.
Sure.
Plus, like the carny scene, the freak show circuit, the circus performers. I have, for some reason, never been able to avoid them throughout my life, and like I love a good party trick. I really do. It's meeting theater kids that somehow got into Ariel, and they're like incredible. Like that gives me joy. That gives me life.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. So you've known for a long time that this was for you.
Yeah. Yeah. My early instances in theater, like outside of school related stuff, just the sense of community bonding, and that sounds so like forced. That really sounds like a gross thing to say, but when you pair up with somebody who doesn't consider themselves an actor or an artist, and they're just bound in the fun and the passion and the excitement for it, I live to cultivate that, because practically working in other settings is just so emotionally taxing that I can't rattle the void. Like I'm either working with like very emotionally inept folks in like corporate or in office structures that are just like plants, like just dead behind the eyes. I can't surface.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it entirely. I have worked at a couple of different startups. I have a better time in retail because it's something new, it's something different, and you're doing like one-on-one relating to people, and you don't have to, I don't know, create a PowerPoint presentation to explain to the entire tech community why it's important to not reveal someone's personal information by accident on a website. Like
one slide, Big Brother bad.
Oh my God. Like why can't I just go talk to someone and be like, this is a terrible thing. Oh, I mean, we hear what you're saying, but I'm like, oh no. Because I can customer service other people, but you don't get to customer service me as the CTO of a company. Nope. And what you were saying about like watching someone's eyes light up, that happened with me and my husband's. So my husband's mom was a theater person, and his dad was a computer person. His brother was a theater person, and so Don was always like, oh, that's their thing. And so he learned tech stuff, and he learned like computer things. And then when he met me, I was like, you sing really well. I got roped into this community choir. Can you come be in this choir? We really need basses. And he was like, I don't know. And then he did it. And then he started doing theater with that theater group. And of course he was getting really good roles because he's a dude who can like manage, which is, I mean, he's also great. He's also very talented, but like, you don't need experience is what I mean. You don't have to show up with a resume.
Oh my God. I never knew that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and now he sings in a internationally renowned barbershop choir.
Yes, he does.
And he loves it. He turned into such a nerd. A barbershop. I mean, he was already a nerd. A barbershop nerd. We are a special breed.
Yes.
Jen has also done barbershop.
So you know Gabriel Spector.
I do.
Through the chorus scene. I commissioned Gabe and 3 other pals of mine to flash mob my mom on her birthday. With a quartet rendition of Stand By Me. I think they did Lorelei, and then they sang Happy Birthday to her in 4 parts. It was just the cutest.
Oh, my heart.
Precious.
We're actually talking to Gabriel on Friday, so I'm very excited about that.
Hooray.
Stay tuned, folks. It's going to be a hell of a story.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Gabriel was like, what about circus? And I was like,
How about circus? Talk about Scotland too.
Oh yeah,
get his great fucking brogue. Oh,
oh my gosh, amazing. But so you were in and around Coney, and like I'm curious a little bit about your transition into like the burlesque world, or how like.
Sure. Absolutely.
Obviously, if you were in and around Coney, then you were seeing that stuff happen. But
yeah, and I was doing a lot of stuff at Bazaar too. So may that place rest in pieces.
I know. This was a venue in Bushwick, which was basically they did not give a shit if they were getting shut down. So you could be fully naked on stage. You could smoke. I saw like somebody pee in a glass and drink it.
Yeah.
That's not the basics of what happened, but like normal things happen there too. But it was
get away with it. Plus, like, while they were fire safe by certain codes, I think they stopped doing fire performance simply to like scam out some artists that like really used to have a stay there.
Mhm.
They were really shitty to a lot of their performers. So I
Yeah.
Shitty.
Yeah, it was a great space run by people who were opportunistic in a very upsetting way. But
yeah, I got some of my nightlife sea legs that way. Kind of doing some go-go here and there. I started devising acts when a friend of mine was producing a night of kind of like an open mic night of burlesque and draggy things called Jump Shark. And I was able to do a slot on Jump Shark, and a very good friend of mine who's now performing under the name Crossbow decided we do a duet as Poison Ivy and like Patient X. Like I plant a little like seed around her. She grows into this graphic monster thing, and I did her prosthetic teeth.
Yay.
It was really cool.
And my first set of pasties at a poinsettias from Michael's.
Nice.
You know.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
And I just started to realize, like, oh, a lot of what this is, especially comedic burlesque, is prop comedy. It's mime stand-up. Like, there are ways
children's theater.
Yes, there are ways to incorporate everything I learned very textbook in theater school into this medium. So I think I got my biggish break getting on Sugar Mama Soda's show to do my Mrs. White act from Clue.
Oh, nice.
I do a number 2 before he cheats.
Ooh.
That. Yeah.
Into it.
Choices. And my other act, which has now been kind of award winning, is my Augra from the Dark Crystal striptease. To Age of Aquarius. And my favorite fabrication detail to this day has to be that I made a Muppet Merkin.
Please tell the people what a Merkin is.
So a Merkin, for those not in the know of burlesque, is a faux pubic hair. So a beard for your clam. Hide your modesty, whatever. Because this was for a show Metropolis Burlesque put up for Jim Henson's Creature Shop theme.
Yes.
Oh my God. I want to go back in time and see that.
I can send you the video if you'd like. It is on my page as Bonacera, which was my strip name back in the day.
Is there somewhere I can see this entire production?
I think so.
Hooray.
Rocco Chanel was on deck as one of the monsters from Where the Wild Things Are.
Mm-hmm.
Bernard did her Chiana from Farscape look.
Yes.
It was everything. It was literally everything. And that number is my favorite. It gets me far when I get to do it. I also pull out like a hand puppet ring on stage. You know, those little balls.
Mm-hmm.
Toss it out into the crowd. They go nuts. Up the street, kids.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So good.
That was good. Before the Panadolce, my producing partner and I, Celia Foxglove, were up at the Deep End for a monthly called Boodoir. Mm-hmm. And we had my circus kids, anyone that wanted to sing on a mic, sang on a mic, stripper Muppets, you know, the type. My favorite freaks. Assembled to themes of our choosing, and we had to call it off by March because that was when the lockdown officially broke us. Mm-hmm. But for the break and everything that year ensued, I tried to port some talents online. So I started this little website thing called Songs of Saturnalia. I strung up a playlist sometime between Thanksgiving and my birthday, which is middle of December. And I just sent it out to folks, and I was like, hey, do an act to one of these songs. I'll find a way to put it online and make sure you get paid to do it. So
I love it.
Yeah. So built a website with my friend for free. Got it up on its feet with like 7 or 8 acts and charged like a $7 or $8 door fee just to like type in PayPal, get the link code, watch it. And that's something I'm looking to expand upon in the near future. Like, I don't think I have the format I want just yet, but I'm thinking of like a showcase just to get people performing again, get creative juices out there. Doesn't need like an assignment, and it doesn't need to feel like homework or a support group. I just want performance to be posted and for folks to feel comfortable watching it, because I know a lot of people aren't really comfortable being outside yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. Congrats. I very much wanted to create things during the pandemic, and part of it was that I wasn't feeling inspired. Part of it was that I was like, oh God, what if there's more of things like this? Because my everything that I do is front facing. You know what I mean? Like I can write, I write, but I don't have a portfolio. I've been tour guide. I've worked at Colonial Williamsburg. Like I done retail, like, except for my like office time, I shine when I can perform in some way. And I've never tried to hone other skills. So I was like, what if I really need to drop all of this stuff and really focus on something else? And that made me sad. So then I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But I did one project for, do you know TZ Roosevelt? They're in Albany. Yeah. Oh, TZ. Such a joy. But for that, I taught myself how to completely use, cool, can't remember the name, the film thing for Apple, the movie maker thing.
iMovie.
Ooh.
Cool, iMovie. You can see why I couldn't remember. So, and I was very proud of myself for what I created, but like, I didn't feel moved to do more of that. And I know some people who completely blossomed learning how to do that and figuring out how their art could fit into a smaller screen. People who like just took off.
Yeah. It's been bizarre, and I've been trying to clock what may or may not happen with Zoom theater as a thing, because I did get to participate in something actually over lockdown. NCT, the Narrows Community Theater down in South Brooklyn, did a Zoom production of Clue. They actually had 2 casts.
So fun.
I was one of their whites, and the entire conceit with the script that we got was the way that the whole thing was written is like with staging it on Zoom, how like props can travel but not be the same prop. Carrying the body across 3 different actors would just be like a pillow dressed in people clothes.
That is beautiful
and brilliant. I was so happy to be a part of that. Plus, theater actors who are the schmackiest of all, like
yes,
were in this cast having a blast. I loved getting to do that, and I'm curious to see how other scripts hold up with that sort of interpretation, because so many folks were doing script reading groups or movie reading groups where they just want to go through scripts cover to cover once a week because it's a form of connection, or it's that actor therapy a lot of us needed. I'm curious to see if that develops into an art form, because not just like pandemic and stuff aside, if there are ways to do more casual household theater interactions, I think that's a way to like kind of supplement it into people's lives who don't actively pursue.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, for a million and one reasons. Not only because, LOL, we could be living with COVID forever. But also because theater is so fucking inaccessible.
Right.
Yeah.
I think making television more YouTubeable, nope, just kidding. I think making theater more YouTubeable, more streamable is the perfect answer, not only for all these performers, but also for citizens who want that art and who want to support community and friends, and just like for one reason or the other don't feel like getting into going out and braving the pandemic and parking and dinner and the whole 9.
Yeah. And for the writers who don't want to put up like entry fees to festivals and contests they're never going to hear from. I know some folks that are sitting on beautiful scripts that just don't get into something for one reason or another. It drives me nuts because there's quality content. I'm also kind of And to be real honest, I think the world is getting bored of certain content and things that pass in our industry these days. And I
I
think
hope so.
since COVID, people are starting to snap back. Like, it's starting to get a little feisty. The waters are really turning now, where like producers and writers are saying, I want unknowns. I want faces no one's seen before. Or like, my God, round out your roster with queer folk, women, and people of color, because this is getting sickening.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I love seeing that tide turn. That's been exciting.
Yeah.
I would like a industry Armageddon that air with the Zomba. I don't know. But it comes, throw it my way.
Oh my gosh. So since you've been in and around New York for so long, I'm curious if there is something, not necessarily burlesque related, but like something that you've seen either in the Fringe Festival or something that you were like, oh. And that could either be like a live performance that was like super strange or not what you expected, or terrible, or very fun, or like extra inspiring, but like something that just really hit you.
It's so funny you asked me that question, because I remember the day I felt like nature was healing. The post-COVID show announcement. A friend of mine in Connecticut had produced, directed, and choreographed a circus show about the Donner Party.
Yes. Hooray.
And like, when you read a log line,
I
and you're
love
just
people
like,
so
somebody
much.
thought of that.
Yes.
Said
Somebody thought of that, and someone believed
believed
it.
Someone believed it.
That's it. That's the most inspiration you can swallow to go, yeah, whatever stupid idea I have, I'm doing it. Fuck it.
Oh my God.
That's one of the things that like blesses my heart. But when you mentioned Fringe, I'm gonna harp back on my first Fringe story. The way that every good techie like notches some scars in their arms is just my first show. And I love the writers, I love these people that I worked with, but the show was called The Coward, and it was a clown show about mental illness.
Like you do.
Yep, like you do. Every character was in full mime face, and on top of that, close to Victorian era dress. So when Fringe makes you like go outside and busk to sell tickets, I had to like escort my cast with umbrellas in the sweltering August heat.
Oh no.
To go out to like Roosevelt Island or wherever the hell they send us to do like island busking in the tourist islands of New York no one goes to.
Oh no. To get on a tram for that shit.
Part of the process with Fringe too is like, depending on your performance venue, location, and how they cycle out the shows throughout the day, you can't really leave diddly squat in your venue.
No.
So we needed to rent out a studio space at like, I believe these kids were NYU. So we got a room where they could do their makeup and we can schlep our props. One of them was an inflatable kiddie pool that I just wore on my back like a turtle shell. Tromping through the city from one neck of the Lower East Side to the 14th Street Y. Plug in and go. You have about 20 minutes to set up, do the motherfucking thing, and come back off. Our leading lady, our playwright, and our producer of the show was sick one day, and throughout the performances just kept going, but like repeatedly just puking into a bucket and getting back out there.
Wow. Wow.
The kiddie pool is also filled with Skittles. I don't know if
I'm so glad that the kiddie pool isn't where the puke went, but please continue.
I'm proud of her too. She's a trooper and a champion. But I had to, at the end of this thing, you have, again, a cycle out of 20 minutes to clean up this stage that was the kiddie pool with the Skittles. And every prop that we had was something that was like a pun in the script. So our red herring was a squishy fish. We had a squib that she could puke Skittles with. That was another point of the show. That was great. And ladders were our set pieces.
Oh no.
So we'd set up a ladder and drape it with something and just like carrying ladders throughout the city.
No.
before COVID, God bless. Because if I had to do that and then like show your proof of vax while I'm holding a ladder, I would have killed myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen strange things, and I hate to disparage any production I haven't had a hand in, because there's no way to really tell from the
Of course.
who's at fault when something blows up. But the immersive company that I worked for, FutureProof, they still exist. I still love them. I don't think they're doing live events anymore, but the original conceit was we're presenting as a fictitious film company that's run by a faulty AI. So things do break. Things do fall apart throughout the show that's scripted. But the plus side is when shit actually went wrong, no one could tell except us. So there's
That's
this
brilliant.
wild look in your eye that you just have to convey across the room and make sure another team member recognizes that if you're not on walkie.
Oh
Just
my God.
Part of the company's shtick, because it was this AI fictitious character that was really trying to determine what makes humans enjoy themselves, enjoy the sense. The audience would get to vote on 2 possibilities throughout the night for different skits and different like performance elements. So we built out 2 different sets of props, 2 different scripts that the actors prepared for. And we launched on a night. We were at like what used to be the Clearview Cinemas in Chelsea. We rented out a floor for the display and a movie theater for this experience. And things throughout the theater would like pop in and out. There are actors that were doing fake Q&As. And I think I showed you, Lillian, that we made Russian letter Muppet puppets.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, the Russian alphabet was there because at one point, communism just leaks into the thing.
Lillian, why don't you take me to more things?
No, Sarah just sent me the pictures of this. I did not experience this firsthand.
Yeah,
although I'm very sad that I did.
And one of the things that just never fired, that like we never got to use because the audience never voted on it, was this incredible fantasy sequence where we had a mannequin dressed up like Farrah Fawcett rolled out with a fan. These are things that really happen.
Of course they are. Oh God, I love it here.
A lot of people willing to yes and. So when we needed to hire folks for this crew, I was, as stage manager and also like office manager for the company, was in charge and oversaw a lot of hiring processes. So we needed folks. Called my circus kids. I called Gabe. So Gabe was on deck for that. And at one point, we found a few barbershop guys. And during one of our tech periods where it was slow, I just had them do a round, do a thing.
Yeah, sure.
Staying together in full costume while everyone's the middle of strike too. Like,
I mean, you can't stop them. You can't.
Max, who is a circus performer buddy of mine, who I love dearly, and yes ands everything, was in a T-Rex costume.
Yes.
One of those inflatable T-Rexes running around and doing gymnastics. So it was a time.
Oh,
amazing.
So lovely.
Oh my God.
It's like I don't know how we did it. And there are photos of me at events where you can see me in the corner either stress vaping or crying. But it wasn't time. It was absolutely
God, that's brilliant.
Just like your eyes are just dark circles and you're like,
yeah.
What about the weirdest thing you've ever seen not worked on?
Because I'm a typical New Yorker, I also saw I got the privilege of seeing things in New York that I probably shouldn't have seen as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Rocky Horror Picture Show when it was on Broadway. My parents took me to when I was 13. Joan Jett was Columbia.
Yes.
In high school, the Delacorte was doing a production of Peer Gynt that was really fucking wild.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very strange. And like things I can say that I saw as a 17-year-old. I realized going to college offsite, going to school in Boston, and you meet a lot of kids from across the country and they have no fucking clue what I'm talking about half the time I mentioned things. I was like, I do realize I was a lucky kid getting exposure to a lot of things. And I think probably my first dick on stage My first full frontal dick on stage was Three Penny Opera,
Oh
the Alan
yes.
Cumming production.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait,
Wow.
did you say the Alan Cumming production? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw that. I saw that on a night when the entire soundboard broke. And so they did it without any amplification. So they took any instruments that didn't need electricity, and the performers all sang without mics. And they came on stage and they were like, if anyone doesn't want to stay for this, you can go get your money back. And I was like, I'm here for this all fucking day. And we were all the way in the back and you could hear everything. It was astounding. It was amazing.
Bopper was part of that run too.
Yeah.
And she was
Yes, she was.
incredible. She comes out from the middle of the house, so that must have been stunning.
Oh, people would lose their minds. It was incredible.
Holy shit.
It was in fact, it was so amazing that I forgot that there was a dick in it.
Yeah, that was impressionable on me, clearly.
Sure.
How about the weirdest atypical theater? So burlesque, circus, freak show.
Wow. I'm always a little of the squeamish type when it comes to stage work. So human blockheads, I understand how the septums like that works, but more anyone that does the subdermal piercing, not a huge fan of. So the Vivian V Smutcracker, we had a performer do live insertions, and as stage manager I have to prep props, so I'm looking at these needles and I run to the bar staff at Bazaar and I'm like, I need a tray, preferably metal, because it needs to be sanitary. Like I have to be able to wipe it down with alcohol and make sure it's sterile. And I think they gave me something that like they put condiments on, and I was just like, oh,
Cool.
okay.
But also that performer should have brought their own.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not talking shit about whoever that was, but
Absolutely. I've
Make
seen
sure you don't get
strangest-
sriracha fever.
Yeah, I've seen strange things come into and out of rectums
yep.
for the sake of art. It takes a lot to jade me. I think I've realized this too. Like I can see anything, sit there and go, yeah, art.
You've got everything stacked in your corner. Literal lifelong New Yorker.
Yeah.
Resident, like, queerdo, Coney Island, heart home. I mean, come on. What on earth is going to phase you?
Yeah. Like the nocturnal marsupials in my life. Just give me the trash pandas.
God, I love
They're my
it.
favorite. One of these quintessential stories, I think, is like running into Lost Boy. They're an aerialist, a striptease performer, also a clown and a shock performer. They're at the Hard Swallow as a go-go dancer.
Right on.
And wrapping a show on the Lower East Side. I think I was wrapping something at Theater Under St. Mark's, walking by the bar, and Lost Boy just bangs at the window, comes out in their cute ass stripper regalia and gives me a big old hug in the middle of the street. And I'm like, yeah, this is New York.
Yes.
Oh,
I love
hated
that.
God, that's great. You're getting a master's right now?
No, I'm not in school yet. I'm working on someone else's master thesis project. I got hit up to be a producer.
Yeah,
because
you're
of word of mouth for a cast
producing.
member from my immersive project. So
Awesome.
I'm learning about film.
Contessa, so what's the thesis that you're producing?
Ironically enough, the piece is called Marcel the Muscle Man, and it's a noir about a, as you can tell, a sideshow performer. First question I was asked legitimately by the producer and the writer of the piece. We got down into the nitty gritties of my contract, all that goodness, and he goes, so based on your contacts, you wouldn't happen to know any male presenting African American little people, do you? Of all the demographics, no. All the little people I know are women or Latin. I'm sorry.
All right. Oh, fuck.
I had to have a good laugh because this is my life now. And yes,
They were like, this seems likely. That's awesome. That's well, and also like props to them for looking for that person. And I
Yes.
hope they find him because that is badass.
Yes, we have genuinely cast the role. It was just one of those beautiful moments that I went, this is the weirdest, like, cold ask to start hitting.
I love it. I love it.
Brilliant. Oh my God. Sarah, this has been a joy.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh, thank you for sharing all of the oddities. God, do you guys remember that show on TLC, Oddities? Of that
Yes.
place
Oh,
on the
yeah.
Lower East Side?
I used to be able to identify people walking into that shop in those
Yeah,
episodes.
I saw
they're
a couple of people too
like,
that I
they're
was like,
always
oh,
Coney folk. Like
Yep.
someone's looking for something cool to shove up their nose. I know.
And then
Yep.
there's the man who talks like this. And apparently he's a moth storyteller
Oh, yeah.
all the
Oh,
time.
Yes.
Yep, I love that guy.
God, we freaks just rolled together in like so many iterations.
And then we roll each other up into a big weird snowball made of crockpot spaghetti.
Yum,
I love it. Thank you,
Oh, man.
Sara Minisquero.
So great.
So freaking great. We will have Sarah's socials for you available in the show notes. And please keep an eye out for anything that they publicize because we got to keep making art on and offline, i.e. 2 full years of podcasting for Lillian and I. Ha cha cha. Don't go whistling Dixie backstage. Go
No.
whistling Yankee.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And make sure that you have a kiddie pool handy.
For all your Skittle and puke needs.
That sounds like a barbershop song. You did the old Skittle and puke.